Thought I had to sneeze. Okay. What up guys, Kristen here with Be My Travel Muse, and today we are talking about which place is better, Tonga or Tahiti if you want to swim with humpback whales. This is pretty much the coolest thing I've ever done, and I've now done it both in Vava'u in Tonga and I've done it in French Polynesia. And both places allow you to swim with humpback whales, unlike most of the rest of the world where it's not possible or the governments don't allow you to get in the water with them. But let me just tell you that these are some of the most playful creatures and it's such a magical experience, but you might be wondering where you should do it. Now, both countries are in the South Pacific and both of them receive humpback whales coming up from Antarctica. Their seasons are pretty similar, with the whales coming up anytime between the end of August until mid to the end of October. So where should you go if you're trying to decide between the two in terms of the best possible whale swim experience? So let's start with Tonga. This is the first place that I ever swam with humpback whales and it was a magical experience. Tonga is a bit different, is they have a permitting system and they only allow up to 6 people in the water with a whale at a time. I believe there are 30 to 40 permits available in the entire country. They are expensive, and that does mean that in some parts of Tonga, like Vava'u, which is a little bit more popular, you might have to wait in line to get your turn to swim with a whale. So the pro is that there's only 6 people in the water at a time with the whale, but the con is that your swimming time is usually limited.
We do groups of no more than 4 in the water at a time with the whales. So the first group's going now, and then I'm going to be next.
On the pro side, I did have more variety in Tonga than I did in French Polynesia. So I swam with a mom and calf. We found a heat run, which is when multiple male whales are following a female in heat, kind of vying for their chance to be the one to mate with her. We found males that were upside down singing, which is really cool, and just had a few more variety of experiences. That doesn't necessarily mean that you can't have the same experience in Tahiti. It might have just been luck of the draw. And to be honest with you, that's usually the case when it comes to swimming with humpback whales. It comes down to weather, it comes down to luck, and so you just never really know what you're gonna get. But based on my personal experience in Tonga, I did have a bit more variety. To bring up a con, at least for me coming from the US, Tonga is a little bit harder to get to. I had to have a layover in Fiji in order to get to Tonga, and then from there I had to take an onward flight to get to Vava'u. So it's not necessarily a huge deal, especially if you have your heart set on swimming with the whales there, but just keep in mind that you might have more layovers and it could be more expensive for you, but you can always set up a fair deal to see if maybe you can get it for a little bit cheaper. One other thing to keep in mind is that Tonga is more expensive. And that's because the permits are so expensive for the boats to get, and there's just more regulations, which means that there aren't as many people who are going to get a chance to swim with the whales. I believe it's also a more famous destination, so the supply doesn't really meet the demand, and that drives up the price. Simple economics. So now let's talk about Tahiti. I went to French Polynesia this year to swim with the whales, and one thing that is really different between Tonga and French Polynesia in terms of swimming with the whales is the laws. So you can have plenty of people in the water with the whales when you're in Tahiti. You could have 40 or 50 people in the water with the whales. It's really not capped. So that is one con, but at the same time, you could swim with the same whales for an hour or 2. My longest swim in French Polynesia was actually 2 hours with 5 whales, and it is the hands down most magical whale swim experience I've ever had. I did really appreciate not having to limit myself to only 20 minutes with the whales so that other people could have a turn. Yet at the same time, it wasn't as fun when there were like 30 or 40 people in the water and I got kicked really hard in the nose by somebody. So another reason why I really enjoyed swimming with the whales in French Polynesia is because I really felt connected to the people who live there. They were super welcoming in a way that I have experienced in few other places. I mean, they really treat you like they know you immediately. It's so cool. And I just thought that that was a really beautiful experience. It was also slightly cheaper in French Polynesia, and you don't necessarily have to book a whole tour in order to do it if you just want to do it for a day or two out of Tahiti or Moria, which is the island just next door, and that's where most of them take place. So just keep in mind that you can do other things in addition to the whale swimming in Tahiti, where I feel like there's a bit more things to do than in Tonga. The other pro is that Tahiti is really easy to get to. You can fly there direct from Los Angeles and San Francisco, and it's cheaper overall. So in Tonga, there's fewer people in the water with the whales, but it's more expensive to get to and just a more expensive experience overall, mostly because it's so popular. In Tahiti, you will pay less, and it doesn't have to be the whole focus of your trip, but you're gonna have to share it with other people. So it's hard for me to say which one is really better than the other because I had truly magical experiences in both places. That said, I did have instances in French Polynesia where there weren't a lot of other people in the water with the whales. And I got a chance to swim with the same whales for about an hour without tons of other people in the water with me. And because there is always the chance of having that opportunity, that's what makes me pick French Polynesia over Tonga at this time. Things can always change. So I hope this maybe helped you figure out whether you want to go to Tonga or French Polynesia for your humpback whale swimming experience, but just know that it all comes down to luck. It also comes down to weather, and you can't make a bad choice. So I hope that this helped you. Feel free to watch the other videos on whale swimming on my channel to see which one appeals to you more. And if you've never tried freediving before, I videoed my whole experience getting certified as well in Indonesia. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you like videos like this, give it a thumbs up, and share it if you've got some friends wondering which destination you should go to. Thanks guys, see you soon.